So I've got the big rock back. Really love this car on the first run. Had a few niggles, which I've hopefully sorted out. Not done much to it because I really want to see how this car runs out of the box as close as possible. Yes, there is a lot of different upgrades you can do to this car. Some really nice ones, there's some really nice shocks you can get, some really nice electronics for it. So what have I actually done? Well, the first thing I did is I took these shocks apart because they were just like, I don't know, they just weren't bottoming out, the body was bottoming out, they just weren't working very well. And I'm not surprised, when I took these apart, they had literally no oil in them whatsoever. I mean, like literally a millimetre. So I filled them up with 600 CST, and they do seem to be set up a lot better now. I've also ripped out the ESC, not because of any other reason, that it just feels like I can't change the punch, I can't actually do anything to it at all. So, but I wasn't having the same problems as some people are with the LVC cut-off or anything like that. I checked the batteries when I got them back, they were both at around 3.3 volts. So, you know, the cut-off was absolutely fine. I've stuck in a Hobbywing WP 10BL 120 G2, 2 to 4S, 120 amps. It's a great little ESC. I've got the punch turned right up and it fits in there nicely. It's not as tidy as it was stock, but you know, it's all in there. So I'm hoping now this is going to give me a little bit more punch. I've got also this turned up to 7.4 volts, so the steering's going to be a little bit faster. Obviously, if you rip out the ESC in this car, you have to put a separate receiver transmitter in. Luckily, I had some spare receivers, so I've just linked it up to my SAMWA. As you can see, steering is a lot faster. And that wheel speed does seem a lot faster than it did before. Let's take it out. We're going to go to a different track this time and let's have some fun with this car, because I do really like this car and I just want it to feel like it's a little bit more punchy and faster than it was. And we may put a 4S in as well, because that ESC will take it. So we're at a different location with the big rock. We've got the Hobbywing ESC in there, tuned the shocks. Let's see how she does. It's a beautiful morning. Look at that, the sun's just rising. Love this BMX track. It's a fantastic one. Let's see how she does. Oh, look at that. Oh, instantly feels better. Oh, yes. Just instantly. Oh, what a cool truck. It does look cool. You have to give it that. It's got to be the best looking Arrma in the 223S range. I love the Typhon, but this just looks awesome. Look at that. And to be honest with you, I love my jumping, but I think this is what it's more akin to. You know, a bit of ground bashing. Just take it on the grass. Oh, look at that go now. Oh, that is 100% better. Skipping along. Whoa. Oh, she's sliding nicely on this grass as well. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, yes. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Nice. Still a bit of body slamming, but nice. Nice. If you're just jumping it nicely like that and landing it nicely, it's a great truck, but I just don't think it's that kind of truck where you want to send it. Nice. Oh, beautiful. Now that's what this truck's good at. You see that for such a smooth landing. Nice. Does need better shocks though, definitely. Anything above 3 foot, it body slams. But when it lands like that, it's just awesome. Get it smooth on that down ramp. Let's do a backflip. Oh, nice! Oh, yes! Awesome! Oh, nice! Yes! That's LVC, 3 batteries through it, no breakages. Had good fun with it again. Let's get it back and I'll tell you what I think. We've got it back, it's all cleaned up, looking really, really nice. That is one thing I will say about this truck. It looks absolutely awesome. Whether it's full of mud or it's clean like this, I just think the Big Rock is one of the best looking RCs out there. Let's talk about the positives of this truck first, not about the negatives. Positives for me are it's tough, it has nails. I bashed the hell out of this. I lost a lot of the footage, so the footage you've just seen is kind of a minute amount of the actual footage I did. I put 3 battery packs through this car and jumped it, crashed it, everything, and not a single breakage, which I'm really impressed with. The only damage is to the rear of the body just here. It's split down both these sides and I've just put some tape on that, which doesn't look too bad actually. No cracks or anything on the chassis, looks brand new after I've cleaned it up. Not a mark on it, held up really well. The skid plates held up well, the arms held up really well. I did obviously on the first run of this break a rear axle. It was a bad landing to be fair. I love this design of the chassis as well, which keeps all the dirt and the crap out of here, and it really does a good job. When I've got this back home and cleaned it, the outside of the car was filthy. Inside here, any dirt or grass or anything in it, and I was running the grass, so these work really, really well. I think Arrma have actually got it, nailed it in the head with these. Really good. The tyres I love. I think they're really nice tyres. I love the compound on them. They're very grippy. They do balloon a little bit. As far as the plastics on this car, I think Arrma have cracked it with the plastics, to be totally honest with you. I know some people will agree, some will disagree, but for me, like I say, I landed this on the back end, I landed this on the front end, and not a single bit of damage. These halos work really, really well. I think they're a really good design on both the back and the front. Centre diff does make a difference. Do you need that? Would I rather still have a slipper and better electronics and better shocks? And I'll come to the shocks in a minute. Personally, yes, I would. I don't mind a slipper on a 3S truck. I think slipper works absolutely fine. I had no issues with my old 3S rigs with the slipper clutch. Not a problem at all. And I would have rather kept that, being able to upgrade to a centre diff if I'd wanted to, and had better electronics and better shocks. And that's the areas which I'm disappointed in, is these shocks. Again, they are better than they were out of the box because I've tuned them, but they're bottom out too easy. I don't think these shocks really suit this truck at all. This is a big truck, you know, it's a 110 scale, but it's a big truck. It's not much smaller than, say, the Outcast 4S. And it does have a bit of weight to it. Now, if you're just ground running, or if you're doing small jumps, you know, 3 foot less, if you land it on a slope going down, absolutely fine. The shocks work really, really well. As soon as you jump this and send it to any height, these shocks just bottom out and you're just slamming every time. Now, I like a little bit of body slam because it protects your arms and your shocks, but not the amount of this. And I think, again, that's why the body just keeps popping up. I'm not going to say the clipless body is crap, because I really like it and I like how it goes on and it comes off. But it did fall off, as you saw in that footage, quite a few times. But it was only when I landed it flat and it bottomed out and then it just popped off. And again, it's these shocks. So if I was to say one thing that I would do to this car before I did anything else, even the electronics, I would upgrade these shocks. There's a few different manufacturers out there making shocks. You could use the 4S shocks. I think they just more or less retrofit. You've also got RCAWD who make shocks for this. GPM makes shocks for this. And also Proline, the more expensive. The Proline shocks are really nice, and I had them on my old Big Rock 3S BLX, and they're fantastic shocks, but they are very expensive. And if you're going to buy them, you might as well just buy the 4S, you know, because you're talking 100 quid. But, you know, some people will buy this car because they like the look of it and they like the Big Rock. The shocks are a real turn off for me. That is something that needs changing on this car. Stock ESC that comes with it, personally, I just think it's pants. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it's very good. I don't think it was a good idea. I think they'd have been better off putting just in the standard BLX system. A lot of people have had issues, obviously, with the LVC low voltage cutoff coming in early. I have not had that issue, I have to say. My batteries have gone down to low voltage pretty normally. But as soon as I put the Hobbywing 120 amp ESC in this, it woke the car up. Didn't change anything else, didn't change any of the pinion, didn't change any of the diff fluid, anything like that. Just by putting a different ESC in this car, it really woke it up. Now, I don't think that's probably the right thing to do, because what I did notice was these wires, the motor wires, were getting really, really hot. I think this motor is meant to be paired with this ESC. And I know people have run this ESC on 4S, but they've damaged the motor. I think if you're going to put different electrics in this, just go for the whole setup. Go for like a Max 10 CT, 10BL 120G2 with the combined motor. But for me, that is the most negative thing about this Big Rock, is the electronics. The fact that you're very limited to what receiver or transmitter you want to use. Obviously, there is a new update, so you can use the Spectrum stuff now with this, as far as I'm aware. But, you know, if like me, I use the Sanwa, so, you know, I have to rip the whole thing out and start again. The motor didn't seem to have any issues with it. Did get quite hot. I did say that I was going to run it on 4S, and I did put a 4S battery on it, but the motor got really hot very quickly, and these cables got hot, so I stopped running it at 4S because I thought I'm going to damage something, and I didn't want to damage my battery. It's worth more to me is my 4S battery than these electronics are, so I stopped running it on that. Handling of this car is pretty damn good, to be fair. It's not the best out there. It's not by any means a buggy, but it does handle pretty well. And I think that's where this car, stock out the box, is more of a ground basher than it is a jumper. It does jump okay, don't get me wrong, and you know, you can backflip it, especially I had the punch turned up on my Hobbywing ESC put in there, and I was doing backflips, no problem at all. Front flips, no problem at all. But then you do have the problems with the shocks and the body coming off. Running it along the ground and small jumps and just skidding it around the gravel, it's fun, really good fun. And I think for me, that's where this RC sits. This is an RC you want to take out in the summer and get loads of clouds of dust up and just have fun with it. And I think that's where this RC is. You've got the side guards here to protect all the dust going into there, and it handles really well on the flat. I had no issues with the drivetrain at all. Again, that's something that's putting people off, is obviously you've got your plastic rear and front diffs. Obviously your input pinion are metal on both, and your centre diff is fully metal as well. I didn't have any issue with the diffs, and they still sound really nice and smooth. And again, unless you're really putting a big 4S system in this and really putting a lot of power through it, I don't think you'll have any issues with the diffs, to be honest with you. Just remembering not to land on power and things like that. And I think this car will last a long time. I think it's very durable. I think it looks amazing. I think it handles very well. And if it wasn't for the, I'm going to say it, crappy electronics and the shocks, this would be something that I would say is nearly probably the best 3S basher out there at the moment that money can buy. But I'm not going to say that. I prefer the Typhon to this, and yes, the Typhon has the same system and it has the same shocks, but it's a lot lighter. So it doesn't have as many issues as this does. With the Typhon, I geared that up. The shocks work really well on Typhon because it's a much lighter car and smaller car, and gearing it up as well made it run a lot nicer. Would I recommend this car? Yes, but I think it's overpriced. I'll be totally honest with you. This car in the UK is £359. That's the same price as, say, the new Arrma Punisher. Exactly the same price. Yes, some people argue plastic is more durable than metal, but something like the Arrma Punisher has all 6S diffs in it, has a better electronic system. The servos are pretty similar, but for me, I think for your money, the Arrma is a better option personally. And I've run both cars, and that is just my own opinion. People will agree with me, people will disagree with me. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed this car, but it's not a keeper for me. This car is going to one of my mates, Sonny. Check out his channel, I'll put a link below, SMRC. He's having this car, and I'm interested to see what he does with it and what he thinks of it. He's a little softer on cars than I am, so this is probably going to suit him down to a T. And I don't think he'll actually do that much to it because the way he runs his cars, I think this will suit him. So like I say, this car is going to suit some people more than others. For a hardcore basher, I would stay away with it. But for somebody wanting to, like, you know, ground bash and have fun and just rip it along the ground, then this is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It does really help the channel. Hit that notification button. And if you like this video, then please watch one of these videos up here. Happy RCing. Thank you.